or the, not the vein, but the artery or the arteriole doing like this. Now a capillary doesn't have muscle. Only arteries and only arterioles. If you cut a vein, you're in a bind because they just don't have any muscle, but they don't have any pressure either, right? So the only thing I care about stopping a lot of blood flowing out is an artery. Let's just go to a finger. That's better. I'm not going to die with that. I could probably write that down right here. If you chunk my finger off, blood would spurt out and it would stop by itself. I could just sit here and do it. I wouldn't be doing it. But I could sit here and go like this and it would eventually stop on its own. Because the vessels all do like this, the muscle cramps down. Now, what do you know about every muscle, though? If you do like this for too long, what happens? No, what?
Cells will start dying.
If I told you to hold this book like this,
Fatigue.
you can't. It's eventually going to start letting go, right? If this was a 20-pound dumbbell, I could do it for what, a minute? And the muscle gives out. So the same thing. If I chop my finger off and I just do like this, an hour from now it's going to start bleeding like crazy again because the muscles do this, they get tired. ATP runs out, you let loose, you start bleeding. It gives you time to get hit to go to the doctor. Right? It gives you some time. It's not a cure-all. If you don't chop your finger off, go, I'm good to go, right? So, the vascular spasm is first. The arteries, the muscles, the walls, they clamp down. The endothelial cells know that there's damage and they... Okay, it's not going to completely stop, but it's going to give you a good deal. This is the next thing that happens. Now, that damage releases all kind of chemicals. And we're going to see some of those words in a minute. But that damage of these cells, these endothelial cells, it just means the cells of the walls around it have been damaged. They start releasing chemicals. And guess what those chemicals call in? Platelets. And where were the platelets all this time? Where are they right now in you guys? They're just flowing around by the thousands in your bloodstream waiting for you to do something stupid, like cut your finger off. And when you do that, these chemicals call them like a dinner bell, and they all start coming to the location. And when they come, now instead of going right on by, they stick. And this is a positive feedback. We learned it last semester in AP1. We talked about positive feedback, and one of the examples was blood clotting. Platelets stick, release more chemicals that send messages to the body to bring more. The more that stick, the more messages released, and more come. And they start coming by the billions. And the more that stick, more come, and more come, and more come, and more come. And what stops them from coming? It stops the bleeding. When the blood stops, there's no more damage there, and they stop. Now, if you chop your finger off, it's never going to stop. I'm talking about a little thing. You know, just a little... Cut myself with a knife, I don't have to do anything to it. I just look at it, whatever. And it stops on its own. I don't have to put a Band-Aid, shaving. You don't have to put a Band-Aid on it. You don't have to do anything. You got your own homemade Band-Aid. All right, so platelets come, and it makes a platelet plug. After the platelet plug, you start making collagen. Now they skipped a bunch of stuff. What was that plasma protein that we learned last time that's in your blood all the time? What's the name of it? It's a plasma protein. It's the number 3 on the list. Albumins are first. Huh? I hadn't heard it yet. It's got a first page. I'm making tongues, I can't remember the name. No, I remember. It starts with F.
Yeah.
Fibrinogen. So fibrinogen is always there, and it comes to the spot, and it ends up in this long cascade, turning into collagen. And collagen is a protein. It feels like a rope. If I gave you a piece of collagen and you were holding it, you could bend it around and it doesn't stretch much and it feels like a piece of rope. You got it in your skin. What makes your skin stay onto your body? We talked about last semester. It's a protein. You have it in your skin, you have it in the tendons, and you have it floating in your plasma as a different form. I don't want chunks of collagen floating in my blood, but I want to turn it to this and I want to make it clot. Okay? And lastly, we have fibrin form from fibrinogen as well. It makes strands. And that's a fancy name for a what? A scab. Now again, if you chop your finger off, you're not going to have a scab there. But this will turn to a scab like on right there. Where I fell off something. But I don't remember what it is. Okay, this is simplified 8th grade blood clot. Okay, here comes college blood clot. Oh, this is good. This is in your book. This is an electron microscope shot of a scab. When they were nice and called it a blood clot. It hadn't formed really a scab yet, it's just where the blood has stopped. And then I see in there already, I see a network of threads and fiber. Can you imagine, do you want this to happen inside your body, in your vessels when you're not cut? You'd be dead so fast. I don't want that in my heart, inside a vessel. I don't want that in my brain, but if blood's going out of my body right there, I'll take that for a few days, and then it breaks down. But this is all those fiber network, trapped red blood cells stuck in there. Should have some platelets around. There they are. That's a good picture. That's after it's already stopped. No more blood flowing there. Now here's the nightmare. That little 7th grade thing is not easy no more, right? It's not easy anymore. This is from start to finish, and I'm not going to make you memorize all this. Don't kind of. But where it gets important is down here. Okay, I don't care about that. It's a bunch of proteins that go in other. Why is it complicated? Why do you think it's a pain in the butt to make a blood clot? Because you don't want it to happen. I don't want to just have this happen inside of me for no reason. I don't want it to get confused. So if I do like this, I don't want it to go, oh, blood clot, and start making this all in my body. So it's complicated for a good reason, because you only need it when you need it, and I don't want these factors to start opening up in my body and make these clots that are floating. It happens to people. You heard about floating blood clots, and the guy had blood clots in his leg, and this baseball pitcher has a clot in his arm, and he can't pitch, and he has to take drugs. Well, it's because 12 has to go to 11, which has to go to 9, which has to go to 8. Why are they not in order? Because they weren't discovered in the right order. So no, they make it a night. I'd put, if I was doing this, I'd put 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that's not when they found them, so they kept the names the same, but they have to go in that order. So a platelet gives rise to the let-12, gives rise to the bam, bam. If that doesn't happen, it stops. If you don't have that clotting factor right there, you're not going to get a clot. You've got hemophilia. So they have to all be there. This has to be there. This has to be there. This is what I want you to memorize, the bottom. Prothrombin activator, fibrinogen. That's what, where did you hear that word before? What is fibrinogen? It's a plasma protein. Here it is. You got it all the time. It's sitting there waiting. But until these things happen, prothrombin activator to thrombin. With thrombin in the presence of your plasma protein, if that's there, you're going to make a clot. If this is there, this is what you're trying to get. Out of all these numbers and letters and crud, if you make thrombin, it's a done deal. You have this already. You've got this. That will turn to fibrin. Fibrin are the little threads. And again, you don't want those little threads unless blood is pouring out on the ground. And then I want them bad. But I don't want them unless. So I only want you to learn the bottom part. And again, all that other talking was talking. You have extrinsic and intrinsic, because this can be from the cut itself, and this is from the vessel wall.
Factors.
Yeah, you don't have to memorize any of those names.
Down to the bottom, back to 2, back to 1.
No. Just fibrinogen, thrombin, fibrinogen, fibrin, and fibrin and fibrin polymer is the same thing. It means a thread. This stuff, you can take in your hand and it would feel like a mesh, like a gauze. It has substance. I don't want it floating around in me. I want it on a cloth. Okay? They left one thing out of this that you might just want to put in here. And it's, doctors really don't know the importance of it, but I know they gave it to my dog. My dog ate a true story. That's why I know vitamin K is important. She ate a whole thing of rat poison. Because I guess it tastes good. I got the ones with the little seeds, and the rats are supposed to eat it, and it makes their blood just flow all over, right? That's how they die. I had rats in my garage in Tyler. I was tired of it. And the traps weren't working, they run off the dang things on them. So I stuck those little things all over the garage, and I walked out the next day, my dog was munching on it. Ate the whole thing. I was like, oh. I called the vet, he said, bring her in. Shot, what are you doing? Vitamin K, vitamin K, vitamin K. He said, what he told me, he goes, it will enhance the clotting process. So read your book about vitamin K. I don't know why they didn't put it in the picture. He didn't do anything else. He said, take her home. She was fine. So apparently she didn't eat that much, or it didn't affect her. Or he ripped me off.